My lovely.
Road trip back from
Oh, you did the lot.
Roadhouse Aussie Burger. I've converted
Now, is
Elena.
Aussie burger with the lot, is that beetroot and egg?
Yeah, beetroot, egg, bacon.
Bacon, yep.
Some people do the
Wait,
pineapple.
For people not who are outside of Australia, can you explain the Aussie? You were just doing it, but it's pineapple, bacon, egg, beetroot, burger, tomato, lettuce, cheese.
It's the lot. It's everything. Yeah, it's basically the burger patty, cheese for sure. But then it's like tomato, lettuce, bacon, an egg, and it's like a pickled beetroot, or not like really pickled, but like, preserved beetroot out of a can. And the optional is the pineapple ring. And then the one thing that I really appreciate is that it has white onion slices on it.
Oh, I love a white onion slice.
Little like white
Oh.
onion slice. And they're like a massive unit. They're not like a little dainty
Oh, is it like the
cheeseburger.
old school buns as well? Like those
like-
real crusty
Like,
buns?
you actually have to dislocate your jaw in order to take a bite of the stack.
And then we also have the Aussie pizza for those that don't know overseas. What's the Aussie pizza? Just like ham with, it's like tomato, cheese, ham, and then we just crack some eggs on it. Apparently that makes it Aussie.
Yeah. Just put a breakfast on
Crack
the top.
an egg on it.
Crack an egg on there.
Yeah.
I reckon, the Aussie burger has a special place.
Agree.
Yeah.
Agree. I also like the polarizing thing of putting pineapple in a burger. Everyone's like, put pineapple on a pizza. People are like,
No, but I say pineapple on both of those things is a big no.
What? Pineapples on
no.
pizzas?
Huge no.
first it was
Oh my God.
ice cream.
I'm a baby. I like peppermint ice cream. Okay, pineapple on pizzas. So one of the
It's
things that
only a
I will
fruit.
like argue about everything is there are things that I don't like, but in most cases, if it's done really well, it can be good. I would argue that sure, there could be some okay versions of pineapple pizza, but I hated nothing more than when I was a kid at a birthday party when I was like 7 years old, and they'd go around going, what pizzas did everyone want? It would be like margarita, whatever. And then it'd be kids going, Hawaiian. 6 Hawaiians would get eaten, and then there'd be 6 full Hawaiian pizzas there and every other box empty. I'm like, why do people want to lie about this being a good pizza?
It is a great pizza.
Then why does no one eat it?
Look, the problem with most Hawaiian pizzas is
they're
not
bad.
the pineapple, it's the ham. This is my hot take here. That most of the like suburban pizza shops use that shredded, weird, reconstituted ham, and they just like load it down with this weird textured thing. Get some good shaped ham on there. Get a little bit of pineapple, sweet, salty. You with me?
100%.
Smaller pieces of pineapple, they need to be way more charred than what they are. The only way that pineapple does well with any type of savory thing is when it's extremely charred. Yeah, it's ridiculous.
It's just pizza.
Anyway,
welcome back, everyone. We've just finished up an intense debate about pineapple on pizzas. We'll bring that to you on our next episode. But we also had an incredible episode talking with Mr. Colin Harmon, founder of 3FE in Dublin. And it was great. I mean, he is just such a wealth of knowledge about opening coffee businesses, how not to crash and burn, always valuable insights, and very humble, right?
Yeah, very humble, very kind. Some of the like main takeaways that I kind of took from it, you hear his early story about he left finance, started a cafe, started it in a club. So the club, when it was closed during the day, he just ran like a little coffee shop. And at first when you hear that, you're like, oh, well, that's, ridiculous. But then he got like the tutelage of a barista champion and entered the barista champions. And in his first year, he'd been doing it for 6 months and he won the Irish Barista Championship. And you're like, oh, it must have just been like a fluke because you have to work so hard to do it. No, he went out, he sold his car, he bought a competition espresso machine to have in his apartment to train for this thing. This is a guy that commits to what he's doing. So that was one of the biggest things that I learned. Like, he's successful as well because he commits. Do the right thing, commit to what you're doing, and put in the effort. The other thing that he is he will be very open about his failures and he adapts. He built his business and kind of made it up as he was going along. He would see what worked and he'd build on that. And he saw what didn't work and he would stop doing that. And so that's one of the biggest things that, you still have to be, true to some of your core principles and everything. Like, it is definitely a gray area, but you also need to be ready to adapt and to change when the winds take you in a different direction, maybe.
Yeah. I think that learning experience and the way to learn and the way to test in your business is such a critical skill. And that's kind of why we wanted to have that episode, right? Is, we really wanted to focus that podcast discussion on the business operations of a cafe and how to start those cafes, how to expand out, because he's actually got 8 stores now and a roastery. He's been going for quite a while, but I think that he's always very intentional about, I'm trying to figure out this problem and then I'll try something. And if it fails, that's okay. As you said, he can adapt. But I remember going to 3FE and when it first opened and it was in that club, Twisted Pepper.
Yeah.
And 3FE stood for third floor espresso, which was basically his third floor apartment where he was doing the training.
Yeah.
And I remembered going into this, kind of walking down an alley in kind of Dublin's little nightclub area, going into this, it was kind of a small, it's kind of more of like a bar, I guess, than it felt like a club. Definitely had a little bit of that dark wood, slightly sticky floor kind of vibe going on. But he was just in there with like a coffee machine and a bunch of brewing gear and just himself kind of serving out. And he was just so excited. He's like, oh, check out this new technique, or here's a thing I've found and I'm creating. And you can see how that interest and passion could kind of lay such a strong foundation for what he's gone on to build.
Absolutely. And the other thing that he was really good at was stealing all of me Lucky Charms. Oh my God, it was so hard not to whip out my terrible Irish accent.
Glad you restrained yourself, Ryan.
Can you do an Irish accent?
I'm not even
Give it a try.
I got nothing.
Come on, give it a go.
It'll come out as like some weird South African German mangle.
Perfect. That's what I want to hear. Say, oh wait, whoa, Liam's got his. What's your Irish accent?
Nah, see, I feel like you needed someone else to be in there with you.
Yeah.
You know?
Someone to
Water's
one-up.
warm.
Water's
Never
warm.
me timbers. Come on down.
It's like an Irish pirate. Well,
See, the Irish are a little sing-songy when they're talking. They go up and down when they're having a little bit of a chat. So if he talks about opening up a cafe and want to enter in the World Barista Championships, then that is the guy that I would listen to. That was like,
Here it is,
I lost
folks.
it a little bit.
It's the pirate-themed cafe.
I just try to
is
go a
going
little bit
be.
sing-songy when I do an Irish accent. That's how I try to get a little bit in there. Bit up and down when you're going when you
Creative
talk.
people,
And,
this is
Here we
what
are.
we have to work with.
Who doesn't want to do it with us? All right, I get it.
okay, maybe my
I can't
technique
follow.
doesn't work. We're going off with the Irish accent of
The
that.
spirit fingers too now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But, lessons. Was there anything else to take away from that? The takeaway that I would have, if you are wanting to open a coffee shop, read the book because there's a lot of stuff in there. One of the main things I took away was he wanted to make sure that he had a clean toilet because he has so many customers, up to 40% of his customers are going through that toilet. So he actually has a log where the staff clean the toilet.
Oh, no.
He has a toilet log. He has a log in the toilet where
I apologize to all of our listeners.
he makes the staff take a picture after they've cleaned it and then log each clean. What I want to see is the secondary book to this that is just a photo of all the clean
album.
toilets.
We suggested
going
he
through.
could start an Instagram account, just of the 10
Yeah.
years of this. This is, to provide you with all some context, this is a tip out of his What I Know About Running Coffee Shops. Colin wrote this as his first book a number of years ago, which he actually said was just a college kind of project to write. And he kind of said, here's all of the information that I've learned about running a coffee shop. Don't know if it's the right thing or the wrong thing, but this is what I've learned. And one of the key tips there was how to manage, the small but important thing of having clean bathrooms, clean toilets in your cafe.
He's not wrong. Small things matter.
It really does.
And then the annoying thing is, and we'll have to talk about it, he's coming to Australia next year, so hopefully maybe we'll get him back then and talk about it. I haven't even had the chance to read his new book, but the new book is basically the expansion of running a coffee business. How do you expand from one cafe into a coffee business?
Yeah. So I think that he said that's coming out in December, hopefully landing into Australia and other places around the world early in the new year.
Yeah.
Perfect Christmas present for folks.
Yeah. And I don't know if I brought this up, but I had a really beautiful, if we talk about shining a light on like a nice moment, I had a nice little moment for us as It's Just Coffee. When I was up in Sydney, I was at Beta Coffee. And when I walked through the door, there was a guy there who I hadn't seen before who just got a big smile on his face. It wasn't Chris. When I kind of came in, I was like, hey, how you doing? And he was lovely. And Chris then came out and started making us all these wild and wonderful coffees. And Chris was like, I think it was Adam. It's like, tell him the story. I'm like, what story? And he listened to our podcast when we had Chris Mabry on. And we talked about on that podcast how Beta Coffee was going to be all about hospitality, making customers' day, great customer service and doing that. And Adam heard that podcast and was like, I need to get a job there. He went to the shop the very next day, knocked on the door, said, I just listened to your podcast on It's Just Coffee, and this sounds like the place I have to work. And Chris was like, I'll give you a shot. We're kind of staffed at the moment. We don't do this. He worked like half a shift, and Chris was like, oh, you got as many shifts as you want. You're amazing. You're here. And he was lovely. He was sweet. So that's a nice little...
Just what we're doing here.
Feel good. It's just
making coffee job dreams come true.
And not only this was actually a cool thing, and maybe I've got a video of it so I could put it on our feed. A bunch of people came in and wanted to order chilled, like iced pour over or cold pour over. And they were like, well, we don't want to dilute it with ice. We don't know the recipes. We haven't done this. We serve like 20 different, coffees. And so instead they were like, let's create an instant chilling device. So I think Adam, and if his name isn't Adam, I'm so sorry, but I think it's Adam.
Yeah, more Adam.
Yeah. Went out to Bunnings, bought like PVC pipe, made like a metal tube into a giant spiral that goes down the PVC pipe.
Yeah.
You then fill the PVC pipe with ice and water. So the tube is surrounded by ice and water. You pour regular brewed filter coffee down the metal tube, and it goes through the round coil and chills as it goes down. And then there was a little spout at the bottom where it would then extract or come out into a different vessel to serve it in.
Love it.
And they just built that out of like Bunnings stuff and had it in the store. So I was like, that's the kind of stuff there that's so much fun from those guys.
That's awesome.
Next call of duty.
Yes.
We're going to Dubai, right?
We are.
The three,
in the new year, World of Coffee Dubai, in January next year.
Salam alaikum, habibi.
That.
Okay.
Three of us are going. And we talked about it a few episodes ago that the Panama lot, the most expensive coffee in the world, sold into Dubai, and they're selling it for $980 a cup. Now, I got to ask, are the three of us going in together and buying one of these $1,000 coffees and trying it for the pod?
Think we might need to start a GoFundMe for that one. And then, sure, I'll try it.
Need to do some training to get my palate up.
Palate training.
Actually,
no, it's better if you don't.
It.
I want you to be like, this is shit.
It's true. Yeah.
It'd be fascinating. It'd be interesting to see if they, like, with the influx of all the coffee pros coming in, whether they have much available. I wonder how popular it'll be.
Maybe we need to reach out in advance and be like, we're coming over.
Book a seat.
Book us in for a great reel. Now, I think it's time to cut to some news. But wait, hang on. I'm just getting, can you hear that in your headphones?
Yep.
It's our reporter in the field, Ollie from Condesa Collab.
Fill us in on the market, Ollie.
Hey, Ben. Hey, Rowan. It's great to hear from you as always. It's Wednesday, the 19th of November, and this week the market is sitting at 381.90. We're likely to see the market ranging through the rest of the week between 391 and 383. So Trump has finally relaxed the tariffs on Brazilian coffee, but only by 10%. So a 40% tariff is not enough to make a positive impact. But what it is interesting is that it's indicative that the Trump camp are open to negotiation, which could provide some negative downward pressure. That being said, ICE stocks continue to fall, and levels are now at 403,000 bags, which of course supports the market going on the higher side. From a shutdown perspective, this has now ended, but we've still not got any USA financial data. As such, markets have not reacted yet, but this could happen at the end of the week, and we could see possible market move to 391 against US dollar as it weakens, or if we get any negative financial news. What we are seeing is that roasters from the USA particularly are exploring alternatives to Brazilian coffee. Mexico was in high demand before it too became too expensive, and now attention has turned to Honduran undergrades or Nicaragua, which has some of the lowest diffs out there. So my advice is to speak to your supply partners, speak to the producers, and get updated diffs. Perhaps think outside the box for any qualities if you've got a short position or two. I've really enjoyed your chat with Colin this week. Certainly, it is a challenging time to be opening a coffee shop right now. And my take is that coffee models have to be really dynamic, really thinking differently. And I'm thinking stripped down, I'm thinking automations, and I'm thinking giving the coffee consumer exactly what they want. But hey, that's just me. Guys, on that note, it's back to you in the studio. Thank you so much. And of course, it's just coffee.
Ollie, you're crazy, but that news was amazing.
That's some pretty useful insights there on the market because it is going all over the place.
Cool.
Cool.
I love, those are some great cutbacks that we always have from our market report that we don't know what it's going to be yet. And that's how we cut back live from that. But now it's time for some more coffee news.
I think you had a little bit of coffee news there to kick us off with,
I
right,
absolutely
Roland?
do.
So that's some good news.
Yeah, some great news. Great news for coffee lovers. New research from the University of Adelaide actually found that drinking 1 cup of coffee a day could actually protect against an irregular heartbeat, which is linked to heart failure and stroke.
It's actually kind of wild because I think for years, doctors actually thought that coffee caused heart rhythm irregularities. But this study is showing that it's the opposite.
Yeah, it looks like caffeine might even lower blood pressure, get people moving. And I think it even has like some anti-inflammatory kind of effects.
Yet again, science proving that coffee is just amazing.
Drink coffee all the time. 20 cups a day will save your life.
We are not medical professionals. Please take this with a big pinch of salt. All right. Well, I've got some coffee news for you, sir. I've actually got a couple of little little updates.
Hit me.
All right. Well, the hot news is that fast food is coming for us, specialty coffee, and get ready.
Another McCafe?
No, not a McCafe, but a Chick-fil-A cafe.
Oh.
Not quite a cafe, but this is actually a beverage offering, I guess, a beverage shop.
Yeah.
I don't even know. Is that a cafe? I think it's just a beverage shop. But this is the American brand Chick-fil-A, which I don't know.
What a weird thing for them to do.
I know. But
amazing chicken sandwiches, not open on a Sunday though.
Oh, no. Okay. Don't go there on a Sunday. They are starting a new business or a new concept called Daybright. So I kind of like the sound of the name.
Right.
And it's going to be a beverage-focused thing. So specialty coffee, they're listing in there as well as kind of other beverages, smoothies. What else are they kind of saying here? Cold-pressed juices and other inventive drinks. Very TikTok-focused, Gen Z-focused, a bit of food items. But it kind of makes sense because there's a bunch of other fast food kind of beverage-focused spaces that have been out there. Do you remember the McDonald's one that kind of was launched for a while?
There was something like Cosmix.
Yeah.
And they kind of launched off the back, like some of the bigger ones that would always do it, like Sonic Drive-In was like based off those old drive-in like kind of diner things.
Yeah.
And they have all these crazy like slushies with nerds. Like they were the ones doing all like the pickle slushies and all the weird kind of virally kind of things. How many times could I say kind of there? Obviously building off Starbucks' success in the States where most of their stuff isn't even like coffee. It's all the other weird drinks that they're kind of making. So it makes sense. But the only thing that feels weird to me for trying to hit that market is Chick-fil-A, when I was over there, always felt like it was accidentally cool. Like they never did great marketing. They didn't have great design. They just made the best chicken sandwich. And so it was so popular because it was just like, you got to get the chicken sandwich. So I can't imagine people being like, I've got to get the Chick-fil-A Daybright drink.
Yeah, it's really just trying to expand into a different market space, I think.
But I think they're missing their order. I think they're missing the vibe.
Well, it'd be interesting because they've spun it out as it's not Chick-fil-A beverage. It's like, I wonder how much they're going to commit to that new brand, right? Like Daybright. And, you know, it's kind of got a precedent. Like Taco Bell opened Refrescas. Dunkin' Donuts had
Dunkin' Donuts.
What is it? Daydream Refreshers that they tried. Right. And as we said, kind of, you know, McDonald's tested, but also closed their Cosmix.
Yeah, closed
stores.
in June of 2025.
Yeah.
But in Asia, like KFC's drink menu is wild. Like they have like 200 like different like crusher frozen drinks and coffees and everything.
Yeah. So I just thought that was kind of interesting. I don't think there's anything that specialty coffee probably needs to be too worried about, but I think it's an interesting example of where mainstream and big money fast food production is kind of incorporating specialty coffee in, or saying that they're incorporating specialty coffee in. And it's kind of saying, okay, this is popular. We see the value on it. We're going to offer it. We're going to roll it out. I mean, if it takes it, it's just a positive entry, I think, into more kind of niche markets. So,
well, I'm going to say it here. Popeyes actually released a better chicken sandwich than Chick-fil-A. So I want to see the Popeyes frozen drink.
I know what Rowan wants to see. He wants to see pineapple added to chicken sandwich. He just likes a little bit of that.
Yeah. Actually, can I add to that? Do you reckon Chick-fil-A has the best sandwich, or is it the Chick-fil-A sauce? Like, is that just like a case study on like one element being
Yeah,
Like-
the sauce is big, and like I know that there are some other ones where they kind of Raising Cane's sauce or whatever they talk about, but like it came out at a point like I don't know if it's still the case, but when the Popeyes burger first came out, like it was just clearly the superior burger, just based on the actual like coating and the breading and the spices and that was on the burger. I really feel like a chicken burger now. Now here's a little curtain.
Sponsors.
Chick-fil-A and Popeyes. Get that chicken to Popeyes. Timing. Peek behind the curtain. How long do we have on the cards?
For 27.
We've got
That's why I
to
said
27.
25, yeah.
All right, one news story coming in.
All right, I got one more little news update for you that Mazzer, the iconic kind of coffee grinder brand,
Right.
has just released a couple of updates to their lineup. And one that's kind of a bit interesting to me. They're basically introducing these grind by weight lines or expanding that out, adorably adding a G onto the name. So you've got the Super Jolly G, the Coney G.
I wasn't feeling this until you said Super Jolly G.
Super
And
Jolly G
now
just rolls off the tongue.
That's my new name. Super Jolly
I
G.
got you a Super Jolly G.
Like say, I definitely want to upgrade my grinder when that's the option. But one of the interesting things that I found with the Mazzer Ready kind of system they've got is actually a dual dosing chamber that's at the front of the grinder, and it can pre-grind your doses. So you've kind of got like two preparation methods. So for really busy venues, it can grind a 22-gram dose into one chamber and you dose it out. And while you're dosing and tamping, it grinds into the other chamber and doses out. So it's kind of it is pre-grinding, but obviously single pre-grind dose at a time. So if you're like really turning it over, it's just like click, click. You're not even waiting for grind time.
Well, I know if you look at like the high end, like Mel Koenigs or that kind of thing, their grind time is probably in the ranges of like that 4 to 6-ish seconds, 4 to 8, depending on like which models you're kind of getting.
Yep.
So if you're wiping out 4 to 8 seconds per coffee, if you're doing 1,000 coffees a day, 8,000 seconds knocked out, how many more coffees can you make in that 8,000 seconds to get through? So it all adds up. That's pretty cool. And I got a soft spot for Mazzer. That's what I was using when I grew up with them. And so I felt like, it's great seeing them come up with these new innovations and that they probably, I wonder if they kind of were just the staple for so long that like other brands started coming in and doing all this
They
crazy
didn't have
stuff.
the pressure to innovate as much.
Yeah. So now it feels cool that like that's some interesting stuff that they're bringing out there.
Yeah. And they've got this little magnetic ID for your portafilter so that you can actually have it IDing what portafilter you put in and dose different amounts depending on what you have. So it's kind of some nifty little things. It'll be interesting to see how it works in a cafe environment.
Yeah, and smart to see if it plays out in the way that they're kind of envisioning it.
That's all the news that I've got for us today.
That's all the news that you need to give us because that brings us to the end of the episode. We've got 30 seconds to get out of here. If you want to send us an email, it's hello@itsjustcoffeepod.com. You can find us at the socials, itsjustcoffee.podcast. Are there any other type of news? Hey, we've been appreciating all the support. The numbers have been doing really well. We can't wait to go over to Dubai. Please, we'd love to hear from you a bit more. And like we said, if we're looking for, any young coffee professionals, someone looking at journalism, someone looking at media, any of those kind of things, drop us a line. We'd love to hear from you.
Cool. Sounds good. See you, everyone.
Bye. Oh, diddly dear potatoes. Dear potatoes.
And that's a wrap.
Don't go anywhere. We're going to have a quick word from one of our sponsors, Apax Lab. Elevate your coffee experience with Apax Lab mineral concentrates. Apax Lab's precision-engineered formulas, including tonic, jam, and lilac, are designed to enhance the coffee's natural flavors. Not going to change it, it's just going to enhance it. It's going to bring out the vibrant acidity, the rich sweetness, or if you use lilac, it might bring out those delicate floral notes that you've been looking for. Trusted by world-class cafes and even barista champions, Apax Lab helps you unlock your coffee's full potential. Discover more at apaxlab.com. Wait, where was that again, Sonam?
The internet.
Oh, okay. Thought I was going to say the website. Thanks.
We put so much effort into our espresso, dosing, distributing, tamping, weighing, but then in so many cases, a cafe will just take whatever milk they happen to have available and throw it in and call it a day.
I know, and milk actually makes up 70% of all coffees ordered. So you could argue that great milk is just as important as great coffee.
Definitely could argue that.
I couldn't, I did.
Our great sponsors of the podcast, Riverina Fresh, have a milk that is made for coffee specifically, and it's used by some of the best cafes around the country and, in fact, World Barista Champion.
Yeah, this gold range that they actually have here was designed alongside a World Barista Champion to be richer and more indulgent to pair perfectly with coffee.
If you want to check it out, they are doing a sweet deal for Australian-based cafes, and you can get a free trial.
That's exactly right. You can get a free trial straight to your door. Just head to riverinafresh.com.au and see if your cafe is eligible. And why wouldn't you? Serve up the same milk as World Barista Champions.
Today's episode is brought to you by our amazing sponsors at Eco Barista. The reason I sound like this is because they got massages at our stand at Mice, and so I'm getting a massage while recording this message for you. They're the best sponsor of the pod that we could have had. They have the best eco products. This probably sounds really pornographic, but it's not. I'm just getting a massage. They have the best eco-friendly coffee products. They got coffee bags that you can design yourself. They got cups. They got iced coffee cups. They got everything you need. So make sure to support them because they support us. Head to ecobarista.com.au and get 15% off your first purchase when you sign up. Oh, mama, that's good.